somewhere along your journey, something happened that most people will never understand. There was a moment when life pushed you harder than it pushed everyone else, when obstacles didn't just appear, they surrounded you. When doors closed, people walked away, and the path ahead looked impossible. But here's the truth most people will never realize. Those challenges were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to reveal you. Because the ones who are chosen are never given an easy road. They are given a road that forces them to rise. And if you are hearing these words right now, it might be because deep down, you already know something about your life has always been different. You didn't just survive your battles. You rose above every single one. The weight you were forced to carry. From a young age, it probably felt like life placed more weight on your shoulders than it did on others. Situations that should have broken you somehow didn't. You faced rejection, misunderstanding, loneliness, people doubting you, people underestimating you. And sometimes it felt like the world was testing how much you could endure. But what many people never realize is that pressure reveals strength. The chosen are never shaped by comfort. They are shaped by resistance. Every difficult moment in your life was quietly building something inside you that most people never develop. Resilience, clarity, and an unshakable inner strength. Why you always felt different. For most of your life, you may have felt like you didn't quite belong. You could sit in a room full of people and still feel separate. Not because you thought you were better than anyone, but because you could see things others couldn't. You noticed patterns. You sensed people's intentions. You felt energies and emotions that others ignored. And many times, this made people uncomfortable. Because awareness is powerful. And when someone begins to see through illusions, it quietly disrupts the systems built on those illusions. That's why chosen individuals are often misunderstood. Their presence alone begins to challenge what others are afraid to question. The awakening that changes everything. At some point, something shifted inside you. Maybe it happened after a painful experience. Maybe it happened during a moment of deep reflection. Or maybe it came slowly, piece by piece, until one day you realized you were not the same person anymore. You started questioning things you once accepted without thinking. You began distancing yourself from negativity. You stopped chasing approval. And instead, you started searching for truth. This is the moment many chosen ones begin their awakening. Not a loud moment, not a dramatic moment, but a quiet shift where the mind becomes clear and the soul begins to speak louder than the noise of the world. Why the world often pushes back. When someone begins to awaken, something interesting happens. Resistance appears. People who once supported you may suddenly question you. Some may try to discourage your growth. Others may even try to make you doubt yourself. But this reaction is not random. Growth changes energy. And when someone rises above old patterns, it exposes the patterns others are still living in. Not everyone is ready to face that. So instead of growing with you, some people will try to pull you back. But chosen ones are not meant to shrink themselves just to make others comfortable. They are meant to rise. The silent battles you fought alone. One of the hardest parts of this journey is that many of your battles were invisible. People may have seen your smile. They may have seen your strength. But they didn't see the nights when your mind was heavy with questions. They didn't see the moments when you had to rebuild yourself from the inside out. They didn't see how many times you had to stand up again after life knocked you down. And yet you kept going. Not because it was easy, but because something inside you refused to quit. That quiet determination is one of the clearest signs of someone who was meant to rise above challenges. the strength that was forged in you. Every challenge you faced was shaping something powerful within you. It sharpened your awareness. It strengthened your patience. It deepened your understanding of people and life. While others were distracted by surface-level things, you were learning lessons that can only come through struggle. Lessons about resilience. Lessons about truth. Lessons about purpose. And over time, these lessons create a strength that cannot be easily shaken. Because strength built through hardship becomes part of your foundation. And once it's built, nothing can take it away. The moment you realized your power. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when they finally look back at everything they have overcome. And something powerful clicks in their mind. They realize they are no longer the same person who once doubted themselves. They realize the challenges that once looked impossible are now behind them. And they understand something that changes everything. If they survived all of that, then they are capable of far more than they ever imagined. This realization is where confidence begins to replace fear. And once that shift happens, the chosen one begins walking with a completely different energy. Why your journey matters. Your journey was never just about survival. It was about transformation. Every challenge was teaching you how to see the world clearly. Every setback was strengthening your ability to rise again. And every moment of doubt was preparing you to discover your true power. The truth is, people who rise above their challenges become living examples of what resilience looks like. They show others that growth is possible, that strength can be built, and that no matter how difficult life becomes, rising is always an option. Your story has the power to inspire more people than you realize. The truth about being chosen. Being chosen does not mean life becomes easy. It means life becomes meaningful. It means your experiences carry lessons. It means your struggles carry purpose. And it means your growth will inspire others who are walking similar paths. Chosen individuals are not defined by perfection. They are defined by perseverance. They are the ones who fall, learn, grow, and rise again stronger each time. That is the real mark of someone who was meant to overcome challenges. You didn't avoid the storms. You walked through them. And you came out stronger. The strength you carry now. If you look at your life honestly, you will notice something powerful. You are stronger now than you were before every challenge you faced. Your awareness is deeper. Your patience is stronger. Your understanding of people is sharper. And your ability to stand on your own has grown. These are not small changes. These are signs of transformation. Signs that every challenge you faced was shaping the person you were meant to become. The journey ahead. Rising above challenges is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where you move forward with wisdom instead of confusion, with strength instead of fear, with clarity instead of doubt. The path ahead may still have obstacles, but now you know something important. You know that no obstacle has the power to stop someone who has already proven they can rise. And you have already proven it. A message for the ones who made it this far. If these words resonate with you, take a moment and reflect on your journey. Think about the challenges you thought you would never overcome. Think about the moments when giving up seemed easier. And realize something powerful. You are still here. You are still moving forward. And that alone proves the strength that lives inside you. You didn't break. You rose. And if this message spoke to you today, take a moment to support the mission of this channel. Like this video so this message can reach more people who need it. Share your thoughts in the comments and let your voice be heard. And if you're ready to continue exploring the deeper truths about awakening, purpose, and personal transformation. Subscribe to Return to Awakening and become part of a community that refuses to stay asleep. Because sometimes, the people who rise above every challenge are the ones who were meant to awaken the world, the quiet power that grew inside you. There were moments when you felt like everything around you was falling apart. Situations collapsed, relationships shifted, plans you once believed in suddenly dissolved in front of you. To anyone watching from the outside, it might have looked like your life was full of chaos and setbacks, but what they couldn't see was the silent transformation happening within you. Every challenge forced you to adapt. Every obstacle demanded that you think differently, respond differently, and grow stronger than the person you were before. While others avoided hardship, you were being refined by it. Pressure didn't just test you, it shaped you. Over time, something powerful started forming inside you, a calm strength, a quiet confidence, the kind of inner power that doesn't need validation from the world, because it was built in moments when no one was watching, when the only person you could rely on was yourself. This kind of strength cannot be taught in comfort. It is forged in the fire of experience. And whether you realized it or not, every difficult season of your life was preparing you for a higher level of awareness and resilience. While your path was never meant to be easy, many people spend their entire lives searching for comfort and stability. They try to avoid challenges at all costs. They want life to move smoothly without disruption. But the journey of someone who is meant to awaken and grow is very different. Your path was never designed to be easy, not because life wanted to punish you, but because your potential required more than comfort could provide. Easy paths rarely produce strong minds or wise hearts. You were placed in situations that demanded courage, situations that required patience, situations that forced you to stand on your own when support was nowhere to be found. At the time, it may have felt unfair. You may have wondered why your life seemed heavier than the lives of those around you. But looking back now, you can begin to see something important. Those challenges carved depth into your character. They gave you a level of awareness and maturity that many people never reach. And that depth is one of the greatest strengths a chosen individual can possess. The moments that almost broke you. There were moments in your journey when you came close to giving up, times when the weight of everything felt too heavy, times when you questioned whether continuing forward was even worth it. Maybe it was betrayal from someone you trusted. Maybe it was failure after putting in your full effort. Maybe it was a period of isolation where you felt completely alone in your struggles. Those moments were some of the darkest parts of your path. And yet, those were also the moments where the most powerful transformation occurred. Because each time life pushed you to the edge, you discovered something about yourself that you didn't know before. You discovered that your endurance was stronger than your doubts. You discovered that your spirit was harder to break than the circumstances around you. And slowly, with each battle you survived, the version of you that once felt fragile began to disappear. In its place, a stronger, wiser, and more grounded version of yourself started to emerge. The strength that comes from standing alone. One of the hardest lessons for many chosen individuals is learning how to stand alone. There were times when the support you expected simply wasn't there. People you thought would understand you didn't. You may have shared your thoughts, your dreams, or your perspective, only to be met with confusion or dismissal. That experience can be painful. It can make you question whether expressing yourself is even worth it. But solitude carries a hidden gift. When you are forced to stand alone, you begin to develop an inner foundation that does not depend on approval. Your decisions become guided by clarity rather than pressure. Your identity becomes shaped by truth rather than expectation. Standing alone teaches you to trust your own voice. It strengthens your connection with your deeper understanding of life. And once that connection becomes strong, the opinions of the crowd begin to lose their power over you. This independence is one of the defining traits of people who rise above challenges. They learn how to walk their path even when others cannot see where it leads. The awareness you could not ignore. As you moved through your experiences, your awareness began to expand. Things that once seemed normal started to look different. You began noticing patterns in people's behavior. You could sense when someone's words didn't match their intentions. Situations that once confused you began to make sense. You started understanding the deeper motivations behind actions and choices. This awareness can feel overwhelming at first. Because when you begin to see clearly, you also begin to see how much of the world operates on surface-level thinking. Many people move through life repeating habits, beliefs, and behaviors without ever questioning them. But your mind refused to stay asleep. You kept asking deeper questions. You kept searching for truth beneath appearances. That search is a powerful sign of awakening. Awareness is not always comfortable, but it is liberating. Once you begin to see the world with clarity, you gain the ability to make decisions that align with your growth instead of blindly following the crowd. The resilience that became your identity. Over time, something remarkable happened within you. The person who once feared challenges slowly transformed into someone who could face them with calm determination. Resilience became part of who you are. When problems appear, you no longer panic the way you once did. Instead, you pause, you analyze, you adapt. That shift is powerful because resilience changes the way you interact with life. Instead of seeing obstacles as threats, you begin to see them as opportunities to learn and evolve. Every challenge becomes a chance to grow stronger. Every setback becomes a lesson that sharpens your understanding. And every difficult experience becomes another layer of wisdom added to your journey. This mindset is what separates those who remain stuck from those who continue rising. And you have already proven which path you are on. The quiet confidence that replaced doubt. There was a time when doubt may have followed you closely. You questioned your decisions. You wondered whether you were capable of achieving what you felt called to pursue. But as the years passed and you continued overcoming challenges, doubt slowly began to lose its grip on you. Not because life suddenly became easy, but because you built evidence of your strength. You survived things you once thought were impossible to endure. You navigated situations that once seemed overwhelming. And with each experience, your belief in yourself grew stronger. Confidence for someone who has walked a difficult path is not loud or arrogant. It is quiet and steady. It is the deep understanding that no matter what life brings next, you have the ability to face it. That quiet confidence is one of the greatest rewards for those who refuse to give up. It becomes the foundation for everything you will build moving forward, the lessons hidden inside your struggles. Every struggle you faced carried a lesson hidden inside it. At the time, it may have looked like pure hardship, pain without reason, obstacles that seemed unnecessary and unfair, but time has a way of revealing what moments cannot. When you look back now, you can see how certain challenges forced you to grow in ways comfort never could. They taught you patience when things refused to happen quickly. They taught you discipline when motivation faded. They taught you humility when life reminded you that growth is a continuous journey. These lessons became part of your foundation. They shaped how you think, how you respond, and how you move through the world. While others may still be searching for direction, you carry wisdom earned through real experience. And wisdom gained through hardship is one of the most valuable strengths a person can possess, because it allows you to navigate life with clarity instead of confusion. The strength that others begin to notice. There comes a point when the strength you built quietly begins to show itself to the outside world. People start noticing something different about you. It may be the way you handle pressure without panic. It may be the calm presence you bring into difficult situations. Some may not understand where that strength comes from. They see the result, but they did not witness the long journey that created it. They did not see the nights of reflection, the moments of rebuilding, or the countless decisions you made to keep moving forward. But those experiences left a mark on you, a mark of resilience that cannot be easily ignored. Your presence carries a certain steadiness now, a grounded energy that others can feel even if they cannot explain it. And sometimes, without even realizing it, your strength begins to inspire people around you, not through words alone, but through the way you live your life. Why some people could not walk your path. Not everyone who started your journey with you was meant to stay on it. This is one of the hardest truths to accept, but it is also one of the most important. As you grew and evolved, certain relationships naturally began to change. Some people drifted away, others chose different directions, and sometimes the separation felt painful, especially when those connections once meant a lot to you. But growth often requires space. When your mindset expands and your priorities shift, not everyone will be able to move at the same pace. Some individuals are comfortable remaining in familiar patterns. They prefer stability over transformation. Your path demanded transformation. It required you to question old habits, release limiting beliefs, and step into a version of yourself that was constantly evolving. Not everyone is ready for that level of change. And while letting go can be difficult, it often creates room for new connections that align with the person you are becoming. The courage you developed without realizing it. Courage is often misunderstood. Many people imagine it as dramatic acts of bravery or bold public moments. But true courage is usually much quieter than that. It is the courage to keep moving forward when progress feels slow. The courage to remain true to yourself even when others disagree. The courage to rebuild after something important in your life falls apart. You have shown this kind of courage more times than you may realize. Each time you faced uncertainty and chose to continue instead of retreating, you strengthened this quality within yourself. Over time, courage becomes part of your character. It shapes how you approach challenges and how you respond to fear. Instead of allowing fear to control your choices, you learn to acknowledge it and move forward anyway. That ability is powerful. It transforms fear from an obstacle into a signal that growth is taking place. The new perspective you gained. One of the most powerful changes that happens after overcoming many challenges is a shift in perspective. The way you see life begins to change. Things that once seemed extremely important may no longer hold the same weight. You begin focusing more on meaning rather than appearances, growth rather than comparison, purpose rather than approval. This perspective allows you to move through life with a deeper sense of balance. You become less reactive to temporary problems and more focused on long-term development. Instead of being overwhelmed by every obstacle, you begin to ask a different question. You begin to ask what this moment is trying to teach you. That simple shift in thinking transforms the way you experience life. It turns challenges into opportunities for understanding rather than reasons for defeat. The inner voice that became clearer. As you continued growing, another powerful change began to happen. The voice inside you, the one that guides your intuition, started becoming clearer. In the past, it may have been difficult to hear. The noise of opinions, expectations, and distractions often drowned it out. But as you gained more experience and confidence, you began trusting that voice more often. You started recognizing when something felt right and when something felt wrong. Decisions that once caused confusion began to feel more natural. Your sense of direction became stronger. This inner voice is not loud or dramatic. It is subtle but steady. It speaks through instinct, reflection, and awareness. And the more you listen to it, the stronger that connection becomes. For many people who rise above life's challenges, this inner clarity becomes one of their greatest guides. It helps them navigate complex situations with wisdom rather than impulse. The person you have become. When you compare the person you are today to the person you were years ago, the difference is remarkable. The version of you that once struggled to understand your path has grown into someone with greater awareness and strength. You have faced situations that forced you to mature faster than expected. You have navigated uncertainty that demanded patience and resilience. And through it all, you continued evolving. This growth may not always feel dramatic in the moment. Often it happens slowly, one lesson at a time. But over the years, those lessons accumulate and transform you in powerful ways. You become more thoughtful, more intentional, more aware of what truly matters. And that transformation is the quiet reward for every challenge you refuse to let defeat you, the turning point where everything changed. There comes a moment in the journey of someone who has faced many trials when a quiet realization begins to form. It does not arrive suddenly like a loud announcement. Instead, it grows slowly within your awareness until one day you recognize it clearly. You realize that the challenges that once felt like obstacles were actually shaping your direction. They were guiding you away from paths that were never meant for you. They were removing distractions and illusions so that you could focus on what truly matters. What once looked like loss begins to look different. Certain closed doors no longer feel like failure. They begin to feel like protection. Moments of separation begin to look like preparation. This realization marks a turning point, because when you begin to see your struggles as part of your growth, the weight of those experiences starts to transform into strength. Instead of feeling defined by what you went through, you begin to understand that those experiences were building the person you were meant to become. The power of self-awareness. One of the greatest gifts that comes from overcoming many challenges is self-awareness. Through your experiences, you have learned more about yourself than most people ever attempt to understand. You have seen how you react under pressure. You have seen how your thoughts influence your decisions. You have witnessed your own weaknesses, but you have also discovered strengths that you did not know existed before. This level of awareness is powerful, because once you understand yourself deeply, you gain the ability to grow intentionally rather than randomly. You begin to notice patterns in your thinking. You recognize habits that either support your growth or slow it down. And with that awareness comes the power to change. Many people go through life reacting to circumstances without reflection. But someone who has faced real challenges often develops the habit of looking inward and learning from every experience. That ability to reflect and adjust becomes one of the strongest tools you carry forward in your journey. The calm that comes after the storm. After enduring enough storms in life, something remarkable begins to happen inside you. The chaos that once shook your confidence starts to lose its power. You begin approaching life with a calmness that only experience can create. Situations that once caused anxiety now feel manageable. Problems that once seemed overwhelming now look like puzzles waiting to be solved. This calmness is not indifference. It is wisdom. It is the understanding that most challenges are temporary and that your ability to navigate them has already been proven many times before. You no longer feel the need to panic at every difficulty. Instead, you take a step back, observe the situation, and move forward with patience. This calm mindset becomes one of your greatest strengths. It allows you to make better decisions and maintain clarity even when circumstances are uncertain. And that clarity is something many people spend their entire lives trying to develop. Why your presence feels different now. As you grow through challenges, your presence naturally begins to change. People may not always understand it, but they can sense it. There is a grounded energy about you now, a steadiness that reflects the journey you have walked. Your words carry more weight because they come from experience rather than theory. When you speak about resilience, it is not just an idea. It is something you have lived. When you talk about patience or growth, It is backed by real moments of struggle and perseverance. This authenticity makes your presence powerful. People are often drawn to individuals who have faced difficulties and come out stronger on the other side. Not because they are perfect, but because their strength feels real. It feels honest. It feels relatable. Your journey has given you that authenticity. And that authenticity has the ability to inspire others who may still be in the middle of their own struggles. The responsibility that comes with growth. With greater awareness and strength also comes a quiet responsibility. Once you have learned powerful lessons through experience, those lessons naturally shape how you interact with the world around you. You become more mindful of your actions, more thoughtful about the words you choose. You begin to understand that your behavior can influence others in ways you might not always see immediately. Sometimes the most powerful impact you have on others is simply the example you set, the way you remain calm under pressure, the way you continue growing instead of giving up, the way you treat others with understanding even when life has been difficult. These actions quietly demonstrate what resilience looks like. They show others that challenges do not have to define someone's limits. Instead, challenges can become the starting point for transformation. The growth that never truly ends. Even after rising above many obstacles, the journey of growth never truly ends. Life continues presenting new situations, new lessons, and new opportunities to evolve. But the difference now is the mindset you bring into those experiences. You no longer approach life from a place of fear or doubt. Instead, you approach it with curiosity and determination. Each new challenge becomes another opportunity to strengthen your character. Each new experience adds another layer of understanding to your perspective. Growth becomes a continuous process rather than a destination. It becomes part of how you live, think, and move through the world. And once someone embraces that mindset, they begin to realize that every stage of life carries the potential for deeper awareness and greater strength.